I was recently able to pick up 2 additional Royal Blues, and these are considered the 7th variation, and they would have been made approximately in 1950. Closest to me is the one that I picked up a little while ago, and this is considered, I believe, a number 5, and it was made with the first kind of batch of Royal Blues that were manufactured, and then there was a pause for 49, and then they came back in 1950. And the earlier versions had the metal hand railing detail here, which you can see has been replaced by cast-in details. I'm kind of excited about these engines because I want to go through them and make sure they're mechanically sound and do anything that needs to be done and prep them, and then they're going to find new homes. And so that's kind of exciting. So they won't be here for long, but in the meantime, we're going to get them cleaned up and let them exercise their legs on the layout. And it'll be kind of fun to have 3 Royal Blues running at once. May add the circus engine on the layout. And maybe I'll also just show this. This engine also came recently, and I found out that this is a 1954 Silver Bullet, and it has a centered tender trucks, which is one of the distinguishing characteristics that separate this one from the 1953 version. And as you can see, it is in pretty rough shape. The bottom is all sort of corroded. There's rust and stuff on everything. So looking forward to this project. I'm hoping with some cleanup to leave the paint and maybe get some fresh decals for it. But anyhow, that's another project to come. Another thing that's kind of neat about the Silver Bullet is this came from the original owner, and he enjoyed it as a kid, and at some point will be joining me on some sort of a Zoom call where we're going to hear stories about this engine and some of its experiences. So again, that's coming up at a later time. So thought I'd share that all with you. So I gotta say, you know, as I look at these Royal Blues, I just really like what Flyer did with these. They're just beautiful to look at. Just looking, I mean, just being here, not moving, they look fast, and the proportions are nice, and in some ways the bolder block lettering that they used on this, there's something about that really appeals. I think what I'll do next is move to kind of the preliminary test phase so that I can establish a baseline in terms of if these engines work or not. So one of the nice things about these simpler earlier motors is that there's only a 2-wire jack panel, and so it's pretty easy to test them. So we're going to do that next here. Start with this guy and then move to the back one. Okay, we do have a headlight. And it looks like the headlight working is about the only sign of life we've got. Okay. So, no worries. But good to know what to expect. And again, with these engines, you never know how long they've been sitting someplace, and you don't know what shape the reverse unit fingers are. But as I've come to realize, if those fingers are not in very good shape, then you're going to end up not getting enough current to the motor, and the motor won't turn. But the fact that the headlight comes on, I don't know if you remember one of my videos I made on kind of diagnosing, quick diagnoses of engine issues. If you see the headlight on, that tells you that your at least your circuitry, solder joints, whatnot, is working well or is intact. So that's always a good thing. Now, really, what I should have done before I disconnected the tenders, I should have applied power that way, and I'm going to do that on this one. That way I can check for conductivity through the tender as well, and just kind of process of elimination, see if we've got power making it through the circuit all the way from the tender forward. Okay, I'm not hearing buzzing or anything, so now I'm going to jump to the back of the engine. Okay, there we have a headlight. I hear some buzzing. Spin the armature just to see what happens. Okay. So, and that little test, what it tells me is there's some sort of issue here in the tender where we're not getting good power transfer from the pickup up through the engine. So that'll need to be looked at, in addition to the fact that it's missing one of the pickup wheels and the fact that it's also extremely dirty. So a little bit more effort will need to be applied just on the TLC end of this, and it's also the engine shell is pretty dusty, but compared to some of the other engines that I've worked on, it's in good shape. So I think we'll go ahead and start with this guy, since let's first batter up.